Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Mister, how do you operate this Twitter thing or this Instagram thing or whatever the heck? You're supposed to know all this stuff. Anyway, welcome back to the show.
You know the ID. Official SIT Morn is the ID that you need, and this is a special afternoon interview that I got. It's called Snowman Welcomes, and today I have a friend who can fight. And when I say she can fight, she can do just that. I'm not going to mess with her. Believe me, I'm not going to mess with her. Y'all know her as the Black Widow, and here she is. Jessica Borga is here with us. What's up, Jessica? How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. It's good to see you again. Thanks for having me on.
And Winnie welcomes you also. Yeah, Winnie welcomes you also. How have you been?
You know, I like animals. I love animals, so that's fine.
How have you been?
I have been fantastic. This year is like really starting off good. Last year it was slow. I didn't have a fight. I had surgery. Like you go through the ups and downs with combat sports, but man, this year is looking up, and BKFC is definitely where I belong. I'm really enjoying it.
What made you choose BKFC?
I honestly wanted to do BKFC, but just bare knuckle boxing for a long time. But I was focusing on my MMA career, and I had a contract with Bellator at the time, so I was just focusing on MMA. But I was waiting around for a fight with Bellator too, so I actually got out of my contract with Bellator. I had one more fight left, and BKFC, offered a fight, and I was like, I'm taking it. So I got out of my contract with Bellator to fight BKFC, and I've been with them pretty much ever since.
That's wonderful. You had a fight recently. Tell us how that went.
Yeah, 41-second knockout.
Now that is how you take care of business.
What about my time and a half from the first one was like 90 seconds. So
well, tell me about all the hype that was leading up to the fight. Tell everybody how that works, especially with BKFC. What led up to it? How'd you get booked for it? How'd the booking go? Tell us all about the process.
Honestly, it's a pain of a process, especially with females. In my weight division, particularly, there's not as many. I'm the only one in the 145 class right now, so I'm finding fights where I can. They're bringing in people who will fight, if they can't catch weight. So unfortunately, there's not a lot of women that want to do bare knuckle boxing right now. So it is becoming bigger and bigger, and there's more people coming to it. But it's just like how MMA started, especially with women. It wasn't a lot at first, and then it just blew up within like 5 years. So that's what's going to happen with this one. And when that happens, I'm going to have the 145 belt for sure.
How do you think it'll happen with women catching on to BKFC and bare knuckle boxing?
It's just the bigger the sport gets, just like MMA. The bigger the sport gets, which honestly, BKFC, just bare knuckle boxing, is the fastest growing combat sport in the world right now. So just that being alone, people are they get paid more for bare knuckle boxing. They get, it's gonna be bigger. It's gonna be more often that you see females fighting. So it's just how it goes.
What's your take on Bellator now being absorbed into the PFL? What's your thought?
I think it's a great thing. Honestly, PFL is a great organization, and buying them out and doing what they're doing with I think it's awesome.
That's great. Talk to me about your injury recovery process, because the last time we talked, you were going through a recovery. Tell it how did that go?
I'm always injured, man. It's anyone in combat sports know I'm constantly injured. With my last fight, I had an injury that I was fighting through the fight camp, and I mean, it's something that for me in particular, I feel unstoppable, because I do not let injuries or sicknesses or whatever. Anyone that knows me knows that I am a different animal. You can ask my coaches, you can ask my team, you can ask my family. It's not easy to stop me or slow me down. There's not little injuries that are going to be able to do that. So I just focus on recovery and doing what I need to recover and doing, the safest. And I really focus though on like recovery more so now than I did before.
Mm-hmm.
When I first started, I kind of was just like, go, 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 not focusing on recovery. And
Mm-hmm.
me focusing on staying, fit, staying my nutrition in order, making sure that I do my recovery with cold plunges and my chiropractic care, my like all of that stuff. I have been really, really, really good with the last few years, and I feel like I finally got it all together to where even the injuries they heal quickly. So with my help, of course.
Yeah. What's the toughest part of your recovery process?
Not being able to do certain things drives me insane, and that's more of a mind thing. That's more of a mind thing, I know, which I've gotten better with as well. And honestly, anyone who knows with like injuries in combat sports, whatever the injury is, you can always train something else and get better with something else. So if it's a foot or a leg thing, you can always get better, with the upper body. There's always something that you can work on. So that's what I just do to keep my mind a little at ease during these times.
Yeah, it's tough to do because I recently lost a toe to amputation, and the first thing they told me is that I couldn't drive. And it drove me absolutely nuts. My wife knows it, my daughter knows it. There was a lot more pressure put on my wife to take my daughter to and from work, and she kept joking around saying, "I can't wait for you to recover." And I'm just like, "Baby, I'm trying." She starts laughing. She goes, I know it's dependent on your doctor and what he says and how everything looks. And now
And
that
just
I've got the chance to get back behind the wheel and at least drive, it makes me feel normal again.
Yeah, it's definitely being told that you can't do something. No matter what it is, just being told that, like, we're like, but I wanna. Even if you didn't
Hmm.
do it a lot before, you're like, now thinking about it, now it's in your mind. Now it's like, oh, I really miss doing that, even though it wasn't a big deal before.
Yeah, yeah, it's a lot of stuff, and I know you go through it with your recovery now. Thinking about it, a lot of things that you took for granted, saying you say to yourself, "Okay, I can do this. This won't be a problem." But now that you think about it in your recovery process now, as it is compared to before, and being told that you can't do something, you think about it and you go, "Wait a minute, I'm glad I wasn't able to do that,"
Yeah,
because now you're like, "Okay, now I understand why."
yeah, yeah. I mean, it's hard, but it's understandable at the same time. It's just the more it happens, the easier it becomes for you to deal with. I
Yeah.
have learned because adversity has been my like literally right hand man for years through this combat sport. I have not had it easy, and I actually thank my adversity in a way because it's made me extremely powerful and confident in my ability to go through anything and survive.
What's your next fight coming up?
I'm hoping June or July. I got my fingers
Okay.
crossed for as soon as possible. Right now, I'm honestly I would love to get another bare knuckle fight, with BKFC as soon as possible. But like I said, with girls not in the division, it's not the easiest. But I got my fingers crossed.
You just answered. I think you just answered my next question. Is it tough? Is it tougher to get fights now than opposed to it was when you first started?
Yeah, I've always been highly underestimated because, like, I'm a pretty blonde chick.
Mm.
They have no idea the beast that lies within me. My coaches and everyone, they're just like, I always have had to prove myself no matter where I've gone, no matter what school I've gone to, no matter what fight or work even. I've always had to prove myself because I have always been highly underestimated. But the quicker, the more fights that I have, like my last one and the one before, I'm undefeated in first round knockouts with BKFC. So, of course, there's going to be more hesitation because they know that I'm powerful and they know that I'm aggressive. Um, I haven't even got to show technique, which really ticks me off, honestly, because I have been working my butt off to show technique, and I get in there and they hit me, and I just look at them like, "You're dead." Like, I do have technique, I swear, but I just don't get to show it because I just end up being overly, I overpower them in multiple ways. So.
I totally understand it. We have a question that's here from a viewer. Josh Lorenz joins us, and he wants to know:
He's
will
an
you
amazing
consider
fan.
going back to MMA at some point, or is BKFC your future?
I definitely don't want to end on two decision losses with top contenders because that's was my two last MMA fights. And I was going through a lot of, which surgical things in between those two fights.
Yes.
So I wasn't my best, but I still don't do decisions. I'm a finisher, always have been a finisher, and want to finish my MMA career on finishes. So I'm definitely not finished with that, but the way things are going with BKFC right now, I think I've got to stay here and make my name known in the BKFC world more. I want that belt.
Yeah, you got to ride the momentum wherever it is. And speaking of recovery, what's your ice bath? Hello, Wendy. What's your ice bath system? Ice bath system like as part of your recovery? What's that like?
So I refuse to pay like $5 to $8 grand for a cold plunge. So I made my own.
Nice.
I bought a huge, I'm talking like a huge freezer. I think it's like 24 cubic inches, I think. Something along there, which is really big. But I sealed the inside. My husband and I sealed the inside. We put it on a timer for like 2 hours during the day, and it keeps it at 40 to 50 degrees all the time. I unplug it just to be safe while I'm in it because I'm not that much of a blonde, but I definitely it's sealed enough that it would be fine, but better be safe than sorry.
Yeah, you got it.
On the show, 1,000 Ways to Die.
Right, you got it. You got to be safe. This has been such a delight having you back on, and just knowing everything that you're doing and how is your family doing? I know they're excited for you.
They're amazing. I feel so lucky to have like such amazing supporters here at home because my schedule, as anyone knows that follows me on social media, I am go like hustler times 10 because I have my businesses that I run. I have my social media that I run. I have, I'm acting. I got some acting stuff coming up, possibly even a potential reality show. And I'm, fighting and training full time. So my family means the world to me on how much they understand and they support me. So they're amazing.
It's amazing here too, knowing how much work I'm putting in. I mean, hell, my wife is the one who drives me, and she says, make sure you got this, and this together. She gets my checklist together, and she keeps me grounded, and she reminds me every day, there's a couple other things you can do to get better, but she's never pulled her support or her love from what I'm doing. My kids haven't either. In fact, they enjoy it, and they really encourage it. Our first super chat is from Money Motion, and he says this: funny, when there is more tape on you, the more cautious other camps get. That's true with all sports. That's true with all sports, but especially with individual sports like BKFC or MMA or things like that.
Absolutely. Yep. They want, most of the time they want their record to be clean. So they don't want to take a risk if you're a risk of losing. So, and I'm pretty sure most people thought that I was going to lose my last one just because I'm underestimated. But I mean, even though I was I guess when you're betting odds, I was the favorite, but I think a lot of people thought that, in both of my fights that I wasn't going to win. And I love that. I love that.
Well, I hope you get some more fights in BKFC. We're definitely going to continue to follow you and your career. You've been wonderful. I have to have you back down the road. This is the Black Widow, Jessica Borga. Folks, she's going to be fighting near you one of these days, and I'd buckle up for the ride. Thank you, Jessica. I appreciate you so much.
I appreciate you.
This has been fun. I hope y'all enjoyed it, and there will be more pop-up interviews like these that I had with the Black Widow, Jessica Borga. Thanks for hanging out, y'all.